stepping up. Deep downfield, wide open, Brandon Cook.
He was just hit by a locomotive.
Green and white, we take the fight. On the field under Philly lights. Claws out sharp like midnight's bite. We don't play small, we take it all. Fly, eagles fly, soaring through the sky. Touchdown dreams we amplify. Fly, eagles fly, hear that battle cry. With a storm you can't deny. Wings spread wide like destiny's glide. Philly pride, we can't hide. Every yard, every stride. E-A-G-L-E-S, ride. Fly, eagles fly, we rule the sky. Champions rise, fly, eagles fly. You're now on the Philly Gridiron.
What up, everyone? What's going on? Welcome to the Philly Gridiron. I'm Kyler. Welcome to the channel. If you like the content, like, comment, and subscribe. We finished week 13. We got a lot to talk about. I've been sick as a dog the last week, as you can tell probably from my voice. I never get sick. And the times that I do get sick, my throat just fucking explodes. So I end up losing my voice. It's the worst. It's just the worst. But we got some things to recap. We've had a rough 2 weeks, and we're gonna talk about some things that we need to really address, I think, and kind of moving forward, what we're expecting from this team. I mean, Philly is like really just in the pits. I mean, I'm like I said, I think 2-3 episodes ago, I said that it started to smell like 23, and it's really starting to smell like 23. So it looks like we were right on that account. I got some bulletin boards up here. I'm gonna end up pulling up here. Let's see. We don't need to see. We can cut that right there. There you go. So yeah, let's just start right off. Let's get into the topics. We're gonna recap the last 2 weeks, obviously, because I wasn't here last week or the week before, just simply because I was just sick as an absolute dog. At least I feel better, but my voice is slowly coming back, so we'll see how that goes. So yeah, let's recap. Cowboys. That was a tough loss. I am gonna do a little pushback a bit on the Cowboys loss. Now the Chicago loss is completely different. We 100% deserved to get rolled in that game, and I kind of seen that coming. But the Dallas game, I kind of have little tidbits, because I'm not one for conspiracy. That's not what I'm about. That's not. But I mean, I think that, as a whole, the NFL is an entertainment business, and you have to keep people entertained. And how do you keep people best entertained? Is you need to create suspense. You need to create almost like your team is always in it. There's always a chance to. And I mean, with that having, Dallas is the biggest revenue team in the league in any sport, really. So it's in Rodgers' best interest to have Dallas at least in the hunt. They knew, and I knew it as soon as they said it, that Philly could have had the NFC East locked up by Black Friday, which was the Chicago Bears game. Rodgers doesn't want that. The league doesn't want that. They don't want to know that. Especially the NFC East is a pretty popular team. You have the Eagles, you have the Commanders were on the rise, but we'll talk about that later. And Dallas, and then you obviously have the Giants. I think next year, the NFC East is going to be pretty freaking good. But as it stands right now, you always, as an entertainment value, you really want to make sure that all of your teams are fighting to the end to fight for playoffs. And in that Dallas game, listen. The officiating has been horrible. And I hate the old adage of don't leave it to the officials. Don't leave it in the officials' hands, because they'll call it, or like, if you can play a game where you don't want the officials to sway a win or a loss and either call them. But that's what's been happening, not just for Philly, but for every game. And I'm going to get further into this, but the Dallas game particularly, if they had a loss to Philly, they were done. They were done. Even if getting to Black Friday, Dallas has to win out. That's the first thing that Dallas has to do. I think Dallas, I think they have to win out. I think they can. They may be able to afford one loss as long as all the playoff teams right now are taking losses. So Philly's already taken a loss. We've seen the Rams take a loss, and we're gonna get into that. We've seen who else lost? Washington lost, but that's not really gonna matter. Seattle won, Minnesota lost. So all these teams are starting to shift. The Bucks won, Arizona lost. So everything's kind of starting to even itself out. So I think 4 things needed to happen this week, and only one of them happened for Dallas. So Dallas is still kind of in the hunt, but like they're still out of playoff right now. But if they had a loss to Philly, it was over. And if you watch that game, there was, I think it was 5 or 6 calls that were game changing, and either one of those calls could have not been either. Like, I think it was like, out of the 5, if one of them was called, Philly wins. But 5 of them weren't called, or they were swayed the other way. So, like, let me give an example. Okay, so the first play that we notice is that the Cowboys were offside, but they never got called. Never. You'd see their hand that was beyond the ball of playing, and it never got called. There was a offside that they didn't call, and there was an offsides they didn't call. There was a false start or neutral zone infraction that they didn't call. And then the 3 most egregious ones were CD and Cooper are covering, Cooper's covering CD, and they're running down, and you could clearly see that CD is pushing off of Cooper to the point where his fucking face mask and shit is fucking pulled back like this, and Coop gets a defensive pass interference call. What? Fucking Coop's shit's like this, and he gets a defensive passing interference call. Just saying, that opened up. It was, I think they were on like the 30, and that was like a 40 or 56-yard gain because of that. And then that put them into field goal range, put them in the scoring position. They scored. The next time, George Pickens is going down, and it's a clear like cross, offensive pass interference, and again, no call. The third and final one that was the most egregious, that like drove me wild, okay, is that they call an offensive pass interference on Smitty. Smitty's running, duck, cuts, and as soon as he goes to cut, his fucking shoulder pad is in his back. His shoulder pad is in his back, and he's twisted up. Smitty gets called for offensive pass interference. What the fuck are you talking about? So it's clear to me that when you watch that kind of game, you knew that they basically said Dallas has to win this game no matter what. Now, I'm not excusing the team, because the team is playing horribly, and we are going to get into that, because Kevin is a fucking... I can't say that. I can't say that on YouTube. I'll get in trouble. For what I was just about to say. But Kevin ain't no good. But yeah, there was just like, that Cowboys game was brutal. The Chicago Bears game, that was a fucking ass beating. Defensively, offensively, you could say like Jalen just didn't play well. He got an F game. It was just like, But I also want to make sure that people understand, like, you know, why Philly's good at what they do. Philly is good because of the offensive line, and Philly is good because of the defensive line. Everything else trickles out from there. Without that balancing out, they fall apart, and we've seen it. We've seen when Lane Johnson goes down. I think they're like 18-24 or 46, something like that, without Lane. And then when they're with Lane, I think they're like 100 and something. Like, it's a crazy stat when they have Lane and when they don't have Lane. And the Bears were all over them. And the thing is that Jalen was not without his faults. Jalen has a hard time assessing the field when he knows that the O-line can't keep up and or can't protect. And you might say, oh, he's had like 6-7 seconds, blah, 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 blah. Understand that KP, this nitwit, isn't getting to play in time. There's 24 seconds on the play clock. That's my voice. So, there's 24 seconds on the play clock, and they're not stepping away from the line until like 7 seconds left. That's not enough time for him to come back, assess what's happening. No, now he has to get the play off. There's no chance of audibling. There's no chance of changing the play. None of that is happening because the play is not coming in, and you can see it because you can see Jalen like he's doing this and he's trying to listen, and like it's not happening. Like the play is taking 15 seconds to get across. Like that's asinine to me. You know, as a play caller, you should be able to get that play right in. There's an art to it. And like, you know, we have Nick Foles going online saying like there's an art to play calling. You need to be able to get that play call in within 5 to 7 seconds to make sure that the quarterback can see it. You can adjust your line. Now you can kind of come back. You can kind of look around and see what's going on. Okay, let me make this change. Maybe an audible, blah, 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 blah. But when that first initial communication isn't happening fast, now everything else is rushed because you don't have that time to assess. Okay, so we got to that. We talk about the officials. We're gonna get into the officials right now. This is my biggest conspiracy right now when it comes to the NFL and the officials. The officials know that they are not in the game next year. They're done. They're out. I think we're getting VAR, which I've been platforming for a long time. I think that every sport, no human should be able to adjust and change a game to the point where it's wins and losses, especially in a game that's gambled on, when Vegas is involved, because you don't know what that ref is about. You don't know their favorite teams, their biasy. You don't know if they owe someone money. Like, you don't know if they got a parlay going. All these things, you know, people say, and they're like, oh, that's no way, blah, 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 blah. That's 100% happening. It happened in the NBA, and it's being investigated. If you think that if it's happening in the NBA and it's not happening anywhere else, you're an idiot. It happens across all sports, and it's been happening across all sports forever. Ever since you could start betting, this was been happening. So I'm happy that the officials are just get the fuck out of here, because they're horrible. And my biggest conspiracy on this is that I think that right now the NFL is not, I don't want to say that it's getting stale, but people are getting tiresome of the same teams winning and winning and winning and winning. You can see that this year we can look back on, like, you know, who are our powerhouse teams. Let's look at KC. KC is not near as good as they have been in the past. And the thing is that Mahomes is playing the best he's ever played since 21 or 22. That's the stat line. He's playing the best football. But the thing is, the Chiefs aren't getting the calls. They're not getting those calls. They're losing they've lost every one-score game they've been in this season. They're not getting the calls like they used to. They're getting called against like crazy. And like listen, I want things to be fair across the board. I'm not saying that some teams should be officiated different than others and this team shouldn't be officiated above. No, I want an even playing ground field. And that's why I want the VAR of officials, because you're just going to have continuity across the league versus trying to pick favorites and go and pin against each other. I just think that every call should be clear cut. Like, I should be able to watch a game and go, oh, okay, that's a good call, da-da-da-da. Then watch another game 3 hours later and the exact same thing happen and the official not make that call when I just watched the other game and it wasn't a call. Case in point, we watched last night the Denver and Washington game. The tripping wasn't called, but that was called earlier on Thursday in the Green Bay game. So it's like if it's called there but it's not called here, something. That's where the disconnect is. Man, oh man, I'll tell you. Water. Like I said, I'm still getting over my my sickness. So the longer I talk, it's like right here. It just swells. But we're gonna get through this. But the officiating is horrible. All right. Anyways, we're going to go to the next topic. So, next topic we're going to go into is what Philly has left on the schedule. We got the Chargers next, which is the Monday night game. That's going to be kind of a cool game because I always like when they do this Disney overview where you can watch it as a cartoon. I think that's actually pretty cool and pretty fun, and trying to really reel in the next generation of fans and really try to bring them into understanding of what's happening. So that's Monday night's game. Then we have against the Raiders, Washington, Buffalo, and then Washington again. Now, I thought that the Buffalo game was going to be a wash because Buffalo would already be ahead, and they would be, they're not really going to be playing their starters by this time of the season. No, because they are also fighting for a spot because they are struggling this year. So that's going to be a full tilt game. The Chargers, like I said, I don't know. Vegas, we should win. Washington, we should sweep, right? That's 3 wins. We're at 8 wins right now. We're 8-4. That would put us at 11-4. The Chargers and Buffalo game, that's maybe 2 losses. So it's 11-5. Does that really? Would that put us in? I don't think we're in the 1 seed at all. I think we're out of the 1 seed. I don't see us getting there. I mean, we need LA to have a couple more drops. We need Seattle to have a couple more drops, and I just don't see it. But we'll see. I think we have 3 wins there and 2 losses, maybe 4, depending on how this mini bye week goes again. We have 10 days to get things right. We're going to get into coaching. And this is what I'm trying to get into. Kevin and Sirianni. Sirianni can't play call. And we're always going to have this issue going forward. You see teams like Detroit where their offensive coach isn't doing well, so Dan Campbell takes over. Sirianni can never do that. He can never take the initiative or have the know-how of calling plays because he wants to be the CEO of the team, which just doesn't make sense. You should be able to do, as your head person in charge, you should be able to do everything that's required of you of the team. If you call defensive, you should be able to call defensive plays. You should be able to call offensive plays. You should be able to oversee the team. You should be able to manage the team. You should be able to do everything. You are the head coach. Can you imagine? And I've said this reference a couple times. Can you imagine going into a kitchen? So I'm a chef as trade, and I couldn't imagine one of my workers or one of my bosses coming to me and ask me a question or needing me to do something, and me going, no, I can't do that, or me not be able to find a solution to making sure the engine keeps going forward. That is asinine to me. It just doesn't work. And we look at Kevin Patullo as another example. He's been in the league, I think it's 18. He's either 13 years or it's 18 years, and he's never had a promotion. He's never called plays. He's never done. that when you see something like that, the red flag should just be buzzing off you. Just because you have a great team doesn't mean, just because you have a Ferrari doesn't mean anyone can drive a Ferrari. If you've never driven a Ferrari before or any kind of power car, you're not just going to jump in the car and be like, oh yeah, I've driven before. It's asinine to think that you can drive that kind of car. The same thing goes for in a kitchen. I'm not going to sit here and ask the dishwasher, hey man, you take over the line, I'm gonna head out, and expect that the dishwasher is going to be able to do the same job as me and or any other cook if they've never done it before. So why would you expect someone to come in and do that? That just doesn't make any sense to me. But that's how Philly sees it. They keep doing this when they hire inside. This is what happens. We've seen it in 23 when you hire Brian Johnson and fucking Sean Desai. Two people who have never done the job before, give them the keys to the reign. One of them gets fired, the other one gets let go. What's Brian Johnson doing now? Nothing. He was in Washington. What is Washington doing now? They're 3-9. So it's there's a reason why people are in the positions that they are. Aces in their places. That's how you create success. But for Philly, they just think we have this higher power at the offense, and they just kind of run themselves. So you should be able to just call a play and it's going to work out. No, that's not how it works. We watched the Chicago game. That wasn't, on paper, Philly is light years better than Chicago. But when you look at it on a scheme aspect, Ben Johnson coached Sirianni and Kevin Bertullo backwards. That's when you take players and scheme beats players. That's when you get to the nitty gritty that why coaching is so important is because talent can only get you so far versus coaching puts you that next step. Talent's only going to get you probably let's say 60%, 70%, just enough to get there. But when you go against other great coaches, it comes down to scheme. Can you scheme your best players open? Can your best players make adjustments and plays in tight spots? All that is little bits. This is a game of inches, and coaching just matters to the max. It's asinine to me to think that Kevin Bertullo was going to do anything this year, and we kind of called this out early in the year that we're expecting a nobody to be able to come in here and do the job of what we do. It's just crazy to me. Let's get into the next one. The next one is accountability. So we have to talk about players. These guys are just they're not performing, and I have some theories of why they're not performing. One being they just don't believe in their coaches, man. You can tell that when you're executing a play, they just don't believe it. I know that players aren't going to go 100% on every play because that the ball's not coming to you. So you can take off plays. All sports do that. Because a third baseman isn't going to be always ready when he knows that the righty is going to be hitting right field. You know what I mean? It's just always stuff like that where you can take plays off. But as a whole, Philly's superpower is the O line and its D line. That's where it starts, and I'm not hearing enough media or outlets really going in on Philly's. The trenches have not been great. They're not winning the trench war. They're getting bullied almost every game, and Jalen's either under duress or he has to decipher really quickly. And as a quarterback, you should be able to do that. But when your mind's now okay, I got this, blah, 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 I'm about to get fucking hit because I know that this person's not going to hold it, that person's not going to hold up, and this person's not going to hold it. So where's that coming from? Okay, Jalen's now looking at the rushers versus looking at where the open plays are. Same as, there was one play in Chicago game where they're like, well, why didn't Jalen hit Goddard on the flat? He was wide open, blah, 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 blah. Goddard wasn't even looking at Hurts. You could see that Hurts was looking at Goddard, but Goddard wasn't looking at him for 6 yards. So now Jalen has to go from, oh, fuck, well, he's not looking. The pressure's coming. Who's the next open guy? Smitty is. Throws to Smitty because Smitty is looking at him versus Goddard, who's not looking at him. Throats getting tight, boys. So like, this is the thing. It's like the offensive line is not performing to its highest standard. We've never seen Philly not have a great O-line, and that's just facts. We've never seen them struggle. They've always been a top tier offensive line, and you can see a bunch of stats and blah blah blah. They're like, oh, they're still like top 10. Da 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 da. If you watch the games, you can tell that that stats might be there, but they're not performing. And you can see like last year, we had Barkley. Barkley wasn't getting hit for 3 to 4 yards before his first contact. He was already on the second level before he got touched. He's getting hit in the backfield almost every single time. Also, let's fucking stop the inside zone runs. Like the O line's not holding up. They're not opening lines, but yet Kevin keeps fucking pushing the same fucking play. It's not working. There's one play that's working really good is when they fake the run and Jalen kind of just ditches it off to Goddard off in the slant behind, and you kind of catch and grab and go. That's been really successful play, but that's it. We're not seeing any attack into the middle field, and obviously that comes with the O line. It's just not holding up. We're gonna get into AJ now. 2 weeks, AJ's gone over 200 or gone over 100 yards, had a touchdown or more because he had 2 touchdowns last week, right? He's got his stats. What does the team have? Losses. These guys, they want their stats. I get it. You want to get to Canton. You want to do these things. You want to make sure you want to show that you're a approved guy, and you just don't want to attack the way that you it just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, win the game. Doesn't matter if it's by an inch or by a fucking car length. A win is a win, right? At the end of the day, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get the 1 seed. Give your guys some a week off so you guys can get in the next round of playoffs. But thinking selfishly, that's what just happens, and it keeps going through and through, going through. We're gonna get into the loss this weekend, okay? So we had some upsets. We had Houston over Indy. We had Dallas over KC, and we're gonna talk about that. And Carolina over the Rams. I don't want to hear fucking shit from anyone. It's any given Sunday. Any team can lose to any team. That's how it goes. It's any given Sunday. That's what this makes this sport good. You don't know who's going to win. Yes, you might have a dominant team, but everyone likes to put people up on these fucking pedestals and just like, oh, there's such a great team and blah, 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 and da-da-da-da, and this and this, and da-da-da-da. And then you get rolled by a shittier team. Case in point, Philly got rolled by Chicago, and the case in point, Rams got rolled by Carolina. Now, Carolina arguably is the worser team. They were what? I think they were 1-16 last year, 2-15. I think they only got 2 wins. I can't remember. There's somewhere around there. It's any given Sunday. Okay, folks. Like, I don't want to get too carried away, but I mean, like, I just don't want people going out and be like, they shit on Jalen Hurts all day. Go on Twitter, go on TikTok, go on Instagram, go on YouTube. You're gonna find some Jalen haters, and it's gonna never stop. But we'll never hear the scrutiny against Stafford. People forget that Stafford was on Detroit and did diddly nothing for years, and he had arguably great running backs, great receivers, decent O-line, great defenses. And Detroit did diddly. Detroit had an 0-17 or 0-16 season. But Stafford did nothing. Then he gets traded to the Rams, wins the bowl. Sweet. Okay? I don't want people saying, like, you get there and you've been shit one good year. And mediocre. All right, now we're back on being great. Completely forgetting about like what's happened and how a player's tendencies live. When Stafford gets hit, the whole thing changes. He threw what, 2 picks? Was it 2 picks? And one of them was a pick 6. He was awful, but we won't hear how bad Stafford was today. You can go on any YouTube channel, any TikTok, any Instagram, any Twitter, and you won't hear a bad thing said about Stafford. This whole week was going to be, oh, well, you know, he was just, you know, Carolina was just, they were just really hammered to him. They just had like a good plan and da-da-da-da-da. No, he played like shit. He played like he normally does. He's, you know, same as we go into Houston over Indy. Crazy game, because I think what they called a field goal that wasn't a field, or not a field goal. They called an extra point that was an extra point. He clearly missed it, but they fucking went like this. And once the officials, it's so funny to me. Like when we go back to officials. What else was there? There was a bunch of things when it happened into the Houston Indy game, but again, like that's any given Sunday. The Dallas over KC. Again, this is where KC didn't get any calls. And you can rewatch that. I've watched that game twice. I had to watch it back because I was like, did KC actually lose the game, or did Dallas win the game? And Dak played great. I'm not going to sit here and say that Dak didn't play great, and CD didn't do anything, and George Pickens didn't do anything. They played great. But KC, again, didn't get the calls. They didn't get the pass interference calls. They didn't get the offside calls. They didn't get the holding calls. The holding calls was crazy because Jones was all up on fucking Dak's shit. And not one holding call. So it kind of is crazy to me. But that's it for us, guys. Thank you for coming in to the Philly Gridiron. This is the Philly Talk. So, whoa. Not the Philly Talk. Jesus. Sorry, Mike. Welcome to Philly Gridiron, okay, guys? If you like what I'm saying, like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on all socials. I'll be back again where you have the Chargers on Monday. So Monday night, I'll probably be live for that game. We'll do that. We'll do our first live for the game. I think that'd be a good time. I say first live. I'm live right now, but I mean a live with the game. But again, like, comment, subscribe. We'll see you again. I appreciate you guys all. Have a good one. Peace.
Brady stepping up, deep downfield, wide open. Brandon Cooks.
He was just hit by a locomotive.
Green and white, we take the fight. On the field under Philly lights. Claws out sharp like midnight's bite. We don't play small, we take it all. Fly, eagles fly. Soaring through the sky, touchdown dreams we amplify. Fly, eagles fly, hear that battle cry. With a storm you can't deny. Wings spread wide like destiny's glide. Philly pride, we can't hide. Every yard, every stride. EAGLES ride. Fly, eagles fly, we rule the sky. Champions rise, fly, eagles fly. You now on the Philly Gridiron.